So last week I went to the local Salvation Army. I'm often organizing and purging at home, especially during COVID when we're all home together. And I have like a donation pile in the corner of one of our rooms in our house. And so when it gets large enough, I'll go and drop it off. So when I got there, there was a very helpful volunteer that came out and helped me unload the trunk. And as we're doing so, I kind of turned to him and I asked him, during this pandemic time, what has surprised you about the needs of this community? And he kind of like lit up for a second, and he shared with me that, the center is in a very affluent area, but there are pockets that have been really greatly impacted, especially single moms, and they're facing homelessness. And he was homeless at one point, and at the same time was also addicted to heroin. And the programs at the Salvation Army helped him overcome both, and that now he's volunteering to kind of give back. And I've dropped off donations at the Salvation Army many times before, but I've never had such a moving conversation, nor did I ever think for me to ask a question to the volunteer. And so, recently I got certified as a Leadership Story Lab Story Facilitator. And I kind of reflected on my conversation with this volunteer, and I realized two things. One was the importance of asking good questions, which lead to meaningful conversations. Like the what has surprised you is one of our Leadership Story Lab crazy good questions. And that asking those questions and your language and your body creates that comfortable space to let others share their stories. The other thing is the power of stories. I mean, I know we always say, logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. And I've known the Salvation Army for many years. I've probably seen and heard their statistics of their impact, but hearing this one volunteer story really persuaded me to take action. I actually came home and I went to their website to see, what programming do they offer and how can I help the community? And so sharing stories works, beyond the nonprofit segment. Whether you're, pitching new business, you're trying to motivate your team at work, or you're even interviewing for a job, stories can be really persuasive. And at Leadership Story Lab, we specialize in helping executives become more persuasive through story. And I'd love to help you craft your next story.